Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you my Pick a Stick Challenge mixed media art journal page that I made using the randomly draw one-word prompts from the Facebook group that's offered by myself and Peg Robinson. This is a challenge, and what makes it a challenge is that the prompts are randomly drawn. So you get what you get and you don't pitch a fit. So to start out my page, which is in a 9 by 12 spiral bound art journal that has 140-pound watercolor paper in it, uh, I taped off the edges. That's what I've been doing in this book to keep it neat and clean. And then I decided to start out with the colors, which this month the randomly drawn colors are gold and cerulean blue. Boy, I love saying that word. Cerulean blue. Cerulean blue. Just love it. Anyway, I found some tissue papers, printed tissue papers, and a piece of sheet music paper in my stash, and I'm just using those to collage the background and give me some color. And I have blue and gold colored papers there, so that starts out the page with the right color tones. And that's often how I start this challenge. The most interesting thing to me is the randomly drawn colors, because you don't get to pick what the colors are going to be, and you got to make them work together. And I enjoy that. I'm really into color, so yeah, that's what I like to do. So I was having fun gluing paper down to paper, and I'm using gloss medium from what's it? It's Collage Page gloss medium. It's the only one I have that's gloss. I have a lot of different matte ones, but the reason that I'm using gloss is because these papers with the gold are metallic, and if I was to put a matte medium over these papers, it would dull out the metallic, and that's not what, I mean, the color is gold, and gold is a metallic to me, although you could also have like a gold wheat color, those type of, those are called gold too, but to me, gold is a metallic. So I didn't want to mess that up. So I'm just making sure everything is glued down well, and there is a minimum of bubbles. This is a thin paper, so it's a little bit wrinkled and bubbled in places, but I don't care. I really don't. This is an art journal, and this is for play and experimentation. So I find that fun. So the first step of the 6 steps, you need to do the 6 steps, and you need to do them in order. There are 2 wildcard options if you would like to replace one of the steps. Of course, you could do all 8 if you want to. If you just want to incorporate the wildcards into the challenge, you can do that as well. This is actually named Cerulean Blue paint. This is the color of Cerulean Blue. It's if you got all technical, it's got a certain percentage of red, a certain percentage of yellows. You know, it's a real color. And this stencil girl stencil, that middle section of it has always reminded me of pools of water. So since the prompt, strange prompt, is pool, I decided to use that stencil and make these kind of pools of water using this cerulean blue paint. And then I decided I would just do the same with some gold metallic paint. This is from PBO. It's a gold iridescent paint. So why not? Those are the colors. Why not bring it in? So I did that with the same stencil in the little openings that I think look like pooled water. I thought about getting this page really wet and letting the medium pool up and seeing how that turned out. But I didn't really feel like waiting. I wanted to get it done. I didn't want to wait for things to dry. So to really make pools of mediums, you would need to get it pretty darn wet. So I went ahead and went with the stenciling instead. Besides, I love these stencils. They're so interesting. So once that was done, that was pool, I was looking at the page and I thought to myself, it's a little bit busy for a background. It's just kind of crazy busy. So I decided to make some glaze. Glaze is basically thinned down acrylic paint. But if you thin it with water too much, acrylic paint will flake because you're breaking down the bonds of the paint. It's plastic polymers, and if it gets too diluted, it breaks down. So I have glazing medium, which is basically a paint without any pigment in it. And I just mix my paint with the glazing medium, and then I can thin down the paint, make it a lot more translucent without losing the stickitiveness properties of the paint. So that's what glazing medium's for. So I glazed over the whole page using some gold glaze, and then that kind of calms everything down and unifies all the parts of the page that were looking a little bit chaotic. The next step, step 2, is arrow. And I'm like, arrow. I just got done putting all these round shapes on my page, and now you want me to put an arrow on my page? But then I thought to myself, you know what? It's December, and Christmas tree shapes look like arrows. They really do. It's the shape of an arrow. I mean, not real Christmas trees, but that iconic image of a pine tree with its pointy shape looks like an arrow. So I decided that that's where I was going to go with my page. I was going to put some trees on it. Besides, I like trees. So I got back out that cerulean blue. I love saying that word, cerulean blue. Anyway, I got it back out, and I made a mask using just a scrap of cardstock that was laying on my desk. You guys, my studio is such a mess. I haven't put anything away, and everything is just laying everywhere. And so I have a lot of random stuff laying on my desk, and one of the things was this piece of cardstock. So I made a mask, and then I used an artist sponge to sponge around the mask, and this is now doing what I call exclusion, which other people sometimes call reverse painting, except I did it with the sponge. My cerulean blue paint is really gloppy. It just needs to be discarded. It's bad, but I like the color and I don't use it very often, so I've just been keeping it. It's just not really great for painting with because it's too gloppy, but it works just fine with the sponge. So I did that and pretty happy with that. Next step 3 is punch. And I didn't feel like punching anybody today in the face. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm feeling a little bit hostile, but not today. So I decided to use paper punches instead. So I got out some different shapes, circles in different sizes, stars, flowers, hearts, all types of paper punches. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to make everyone yawn. It's just how it's going around here. Um, then I got out some of my paper scraps, pink and blue and orange. I'm not going with the red and green here for my sort of a holiday page. It's sort of holiday without being like Christmas, 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 Christmas in your face. Um, it wasn't what I wanted. I just wanted something pretty. And so I decided to use pink and orange and blue for all my little bits and pieces that I'm punching out. And then the 3 different size circles I punch out of some glossy white cardstock that's also laying on my desk. Don't know why. It just is. Maybe I thought I was going to play with alcohol ink. I don't know. Everything is such a disaster in there. I need just peace and quiet and time to just go through everything, and I haven't had it yet. So hopefully sometime this month I'll get that straightened out because I might need that room for someone to sleep in. So I need to at least get the floor cleaned up because everything's all over the floor too. It's a complete mess. So yeah, punch, lots of punching, pretty fun. I have all these punches left over from the days when I did a lot of card making and scrapbooking. So I don't use them very often, but hey, they came in handy. Next step Very convenient in the random drawing of things. The next step was attach. So what could be better than that? Now I can attach all my punched pieces to my page. Yay! So I'm using Elmer's Permanent Craft Glue Stick. This is good stuff. It does actually dry permanent. A lot of the glue sticks that I've used in the past have peeled up, and that's why I tend to use mediums to attach my collage. But this stick works well for little things like this, and so I put my three glossy white circles in a stack there, completing my composition. You know, threes look better than twos. I knew I was going to put something else over there, and I knew it was going to be a snowman when I put the trees down. Otherwise, I would have put another tree. That would have been fine too. But having just two things on the page is doesn't please me. I need, you know, three things or five things or seven things. I like odd numbers. So that's my little snowman over there next to my two little trees. Of all the images of Christmas and the holidays that I think of the most, I like snowmen. They're my favorite. That's like just my favorite thing for an image or an icon of Christmas or winter holidays. So that's why I wanted to put a snowman on because I can't resist. Plus, I have three sizes of circle punches that work perfectly for that. I've actually made cards before by using those three punches to make snowmen, so I remember that and knew that I could do that when I opened my punch drawer. So I'm gluing all these little flowers, hearts, and stars all over the trees, and they look pretty festive without being Christmas in your face because there are other holidays in the winter besides Christmas, and other people might, you know, celebrate something else. Even I might celebrate something else. So the colors actually, the blue would be if it was with silver would be great for Hanukkah. But anyway, I'm going with pink, orange, and blue for my colors, and then of course the blue and gold and some yellow. So then I'd take a scrap of gel print and make a stocking cap and scarf for my snowman and glue those on with the glue stick, just randomly cutting them out. Nothing fancy, no patterns or anything, and just cutting. And I make it pink and orange. I give the hat a little brim of orange and a little orange stripe on the pink scarf because I've kind of been thinking about pink and orange lately. I really like those together. It's not really the right season for pink and orange, but I don't care. I wanted to do pink and orange. And then, of course, a little orange carrot nose for my snowman. So the next step in the list of steps that you do in order is pen, which is also handy because it was time to start detailing. So I'm using Posca pins, of course, because you know I love Posca pins, to do detailing. I drew in a face for my snowman and some arms and some pink cheeks and some white snow and just, you know, all those things that needed to be detailed out. Can't stand it when things are floating. I need a line on the horizon. So I made a white line to indicate snow and just, you know, little details using a set of medium tip Posca pins that has a lot of different colors. Put some ribbon or garland type stuff on the trees using pink marker and white and just, you know, generally doing marker stuff because marker stuff can make a lot of details and details make interest on your pages. So I like Posca pens. I do. I wished I owned stock in their company. I think the company is Uni, U-N-I, and I think it might be like Chinese or Japanese or something. I'm not sure. Sorry, can't stop yawning. So then, what did I do next? Oh, just putting some white details on the trees, on the ornaments, centers in the flowers, and like little caps or hangers or whatever you want to call it on some of the other ornaments. So the final step in the challenge is rag. Rag. Well, okay. I remember back in the day when I was, I don't know, a teenager maybe. I maybe a teenager. I don't know. Maybe I was older than that. I don't remember. Anyway, I remember making a rag texture on a wall with paint, with glaze, and using a rag to do the texture. So I did the same thing. I just got out some more of that gold metallic paint, and I wadded up my shop towel, which I use as a rag on my desk, and just dipped it in the paint and added a little bit of that ragged on texture, spongy raggy texture at the top around the edges of the page. And then I'm taking my blue Posca pen and adding some shadows. I added light blue shadows to the snowman and then this darker blue around the trees and blending with my Arteza water tank because I just like to make shadows around things. I think it makes them stand out from the page better. Even though this one, I mean, it probably really wasn't necessary, but it's something I do. So I could have made them darker. I could have, got out some black or something, but I just went with this blue that's slightly darker than what was on the page. I just think it adds something, makes things look less stuck on. So I went with it. And I thought maybe some splatters for kind of like a starry night in the background. So I used a light yellow Posca pen to do that, splattering the background, and then I'm taking off the tape to see what it all looks like. This is just painter's tape, plain painter's tape. And I like having that border around the pages. That's what I've been doing in this book, and I enjoy it. If you guys have been watching these challenges, you've seen me do it before in this book. So I'm pretty happy with my page. I decide to make some words on the page that say welcome winter using a white Posca pen. And that was pretty much the end of the page. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on your notification bells if you want to be notified when I put out a fresh new video. This month it will be mostly every third day because I'm trying to take it a little bit easy and spend some time with my family for the holidays and do some Christmas cooking and decorating and making a Yule log and all those things that I would like to do when it's nice and cold outside. It's actually cold here in Arizona. I'm wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt and the whole thing. So that's it for me for today and the Pick Stick Challenge. I will see you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.